Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, why do the Turners keep going back to Leanne in all the face of it, like her being an insane person? All right, well, anyway, subscribe if you're new to the channel because today we're reviewing the finale of the entire series itself, the end of Servant Season 4, Episode 10, Fallen. Now look, far be it from me to give my opinion about something that I had nothing to do with. But that's kind of the premise of the show, so I'm going to do it anyway. My initial thoughts about this episode and the finale of this entire series is... I wanted it to be better than it was. I don't know what I was expecting it to be. I just know I was expecting it to be greater than what I was given. And I don't know that I deserve it. Like, you know, as far as like an audience member goes, did I expect too much out of the series? Did they set up too great of an expectation for the payoff that they were ultimately able to deliver? Did they actually have a story in mind from the beginning, or were they just trying to wrap it up in this last season, knowing they had no more other, stories to tell? I don't know. All I know is watching other people review this show acting as if the Faustian bargain was some surprise information and like secret revealed upon this final episode tells me that people who watch these reviews are fucking idiots. 100% goddamn fucking morons. I'm hoping you're not one of them. I'm not making any guarantees because I'm clearly in the same camp. But the explanations for this show go along the lines of Faustian bargain, which is what we were told by the show 3 episodes ago. So that's the ultimate wrap-up? That's the final conclusion? A 15th century fucking story? Get the fuck out of here. All right. This is directed by Veronica Franz and Severin Fiala. Written by Laura Marks, and it aired, of course, this past Friday, March 17. The synopsis is that we left with this sort of devil and angel on Dorothy's shoulders, Leanne and her husband, Sean, basically saying, look, don't listen to Leanne, she's a fucking liar, and Leanne saying, hey, I can give you everything you want. All you gotta do is say is yes. And Dorothy says, yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know how I'm feeling about this. You're kind of fucking creepy, Leanne. You're a creepy ass girl. You're definitely not who you say you are. You're a liar. And I don't really want to be in your fucking debt. So, no. And then she goes off and mourns her son. Rightfully so. Dorothy finally comes to terms with the fact that she killed her son. And now she is finally processing the trauma that she should have processed, I don't know, like a year ago. But finally it's coming to terms, right? This I love. I love character growth. You have to face the trauma in your life. You have to accept the responsibility if you have responsibility to accept, and you must accept that you don't have responsibility if in fact you do not have any. But you have to process it. You have to go through that pain. That's the only way to come on the other side unscathed and healthy. So Dorothy is finally doing that, which I dig. Leanne, on the other hand, is sort of, well, I guess the word would be pouting. She is pouting that she didn't get exactly what she wanted after having murdered her mother in a fire, joining an insane cult, then attaching herself like a leech to another family, bringing back their dead son. And she's complaining, why can't I have a family? Why does no one like or trust me? Well, I don't know. Maybe because you are written to be an insufferable bitch. Maybe that is why you don't have a family. Maybe it's because you as a character are a goddamn toxic piece of shit that no one should be around or have sympathy for. And yet the series presents itself as if we should have sympathy for her. It presents it as if we should understand her motivations. Now, understand versus accept. I want to sort of bridge this gap here because yes, we understand why we're presented with her being the way she is, but us accepting it is certainly not in the cards, at least for me. This is an insane ask from any show to its audience. And yet the Turners, once again, flip-flop. Not one episode prior to this, they're actively trying to murder Leanne. They're trying to send her to this cult that she was a member of so that they can actively fucking murder her. And in this episode, in the finale, Dorothy's like, no, you're an innocent person. There's nothing wrong with you at all. And thank you so much for giving me time with my boy who I would give any time to be with. There's nothing wrong with you. I forgive you. You were saying that she should be murdered an episode ago. And we're supposed to now believe, because a week in our lives have passed, that you're just beyond that? What? Look, I can believe some insane storytelling. I've watched Star Wars. I can believe some incredible leaps of logic. It comes par for the course when you're consuming someone else's media. But this is beyond the fucking par. And I've watched this and I've tried. I've tried to reconcile as a viewer of this saying, look, every other goddamn episode, except for the ones that Shyamalan's kid has been involved with, have been amazing. The tone of the show, the atmosphere of the show, the clothing, the setup, the lighting, the cinematography, the sound design, everything is firing on all cylinders. How could I, as a human being, possibly expect them to nail the landing? It's too much to live up to. And yet I had hope that they would be able to do it. And then they present us with this dumpster fire, and there's fucking fans out there of this show who are actually eating the garbage as if it's fucking lobster or some delicate fucking foie gras, and they're just pleased to be given any scraps that they could get. You have to call shit when you're presented with shit. And this ending was shit. Now, that's not to say that there are not one or two moments that were pretty great. I'll get to them. But overall, it was shit. Okay, so Leanne goes to pout and scream at the sky. This is something that we've grown used to in this season specifically. So she goes up, why? Ostensibly yelling to God or, I don't know, whoever she thinks is in charge of lightning, Zeus maybe. Why can't I have one thing? Why don't I deserve one thing? Well, I would just say welcome to life. Welcome to reality. No one gets everything they want in life. You think children in fucking the Middle East are just hoping that the U.S. bombs their fucking parents? No! You think fucking people in Palestine is just waiting in anticipation for Israel to fucking bomb them? No! Life is full of chaos, insanity, disappointment, and suffering. You're not owed anything. So why anyone, especially Leanne, who sees herself as some sort of fallen fucking angel with these supernatural powers, could come to expect that she deserves, after having murdered people, some sort of debt from some uncaring God, is too far for me to believe at this point. It's too much to ask. She should be begging forgiveness if she believes in the invisible guy upstairs. Not begging for some parcel that he should fucking crumble onto her of loving parents and shit. The chaos of the universe don't give a fuck. Children are abused by uncaring parents. Children are murdered. Children are fucking abducted. They go to priests in fucking Catholic dioceses and they're literally raped. That's what happens to children in religious institutions. So how are we as an audience supposed to believe that this child of religion deserves something when every other child is being abused by religion? fuck out of here. Hey, Chris. You came in on good moments. So I don't accept Dorothy's turn of accepting and forgiving Leanne. I don't accept Leanne's actual expectation of being owed by some supreme deity when she has this entire season presented herself as the devil. Literally, she is the Faustian devil. Sean, you made the bargain with me. Be a big boy. Grow some fucking balls. You've accepted the bargain. Now deal with it. And now she wants forgiveness? Now she's owed something by some benevolent God? Get the fuck out of here. All right. But there was a good scene. I'm getting there. So Dorothy then goes upstairs after fucking Leanne to tell her, look, you gave me a months, plural, with my son, which I otherwise would not have had. I would have given everything for a minute with him. And this is the only believable moment in this entire episode. Because yes, I would give everything in the world if my daughter just hugged me. You know, like smiled at me in some sort of loving manner. Everything. I don't care. Like the only thing I care about is my family and wanting them to be a part of my life in a positive way. So I get Dorothy. I do not get her immediate going from I need to kill this crazy woman suddenly to I forgive you. Thank you so much. You're an angel. You're amazing. Kissing her on the head and forgiving her. That's a bridge too far. I get her motivation. I don't get the reality of her presentation. A huge disconnect. So we finally get to the point where Leanne is just like, I just wanted a mother. I just want to be loved. And Dorothy's like, you deserve to be loved. And it doesn't jive with anything else that's happened this entire season. How can you end the series with something that is in stark contrast to everything the series has presented thus far? And then expect us to just buy it. And what drives me insane is that there are people that do. So she forgives Leanne. Leanne says that her son forgives her for killing him. All right. Dorothy is overtaken with emotion because she is suffering from pure PTSD trauma at this moment. She is acting insanely. She clearly doesn't know what the fuck is going on. That's the only way that I can rationalize her behavior, because otherwise it makes zero sense. But to say that your son forgives you for murdering him when she didn't murder him. She was suffering from postpartum depression. She was not consciously doing anything. She didn't murder him as much as the environment chose to murder him. As the hot car decided to heat up and murder him. It was happenstance that he died. This is the reality of the world. There is not always someone to blame. The chaos of the universe doesn't give a fuck about us. Sometimes a rock just falls from the sky and fucking murders people. That's life. Sometimes you just catch a virus. People die from the cold. The cold. That's life. You die for insane reasons. No one's at fault. But to prey on a mother's sensibilities and pretend that she's the reason that her son died, that it was because of her actions that he died. I agree it's from her neglect because of her trauma that she was suffering, but that's no longer her fault than traveling to, Hawaii during fucking tsunami season and someone being murdered and swept away. Well, you're the one that wanted to go Hawaii, so you're the one at fault. No. That's not how it works, you dumbass fucking writers. That is not how it works. She is not at fault for murdering her son. She wanted him to live. She was suffering from fucking trauma that she didn't understand how to cope with. And she was doing the best that she fucking could as a human being. To play it off as if she murdered him is to ignore the trauma that women suffer on a regular daily basis from fucking having children. The insanity. Women would die more often from having children than suffering postpartum depression from then surviving having children. It ignores the reality of the trauma that is very real, that is very present, that people suffer from, and turns it from accepting the suffering and the reality of the moment into them being at fault. They're not a monster because you suffer from postpartum depression. It has nothing to do with your choices or a decision you make. It's just the reality of the chaos of the universe, your individual chemistry mixed with the situation of you being raised and the culture and the reality of the environmental situations. And it's just like the fucking madness. We're all built of different chemistry. There's no one size fits all in life. You can't just say because you're there, you're the reason. It really drives me insane. I don't even know why, because I'm not even a girl, but it fucking drives me up the wall. So she's told that her dead son forgives her. Fuck you. But then Dorothy acts like, oh, I'm suddenly forgiven. This is beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Leanne. And Leanne's like, let's go outside. Let's take you to the hospital because Sean ripped open his fucking, whatever. And they need to take care of life. And, there's this huge storm because I'm having an emotional breakdown because I'm an insane person. And the environment's fucking all reacting to my I don't know, my upset fucking emotional state. She puts Dorothy in the car. She says she's got to go back and get one more thing. She goes in the house, literally puts gasoline all over the house, lights a match, burning the doll that was, of course, their supposed baby the whole time, but it actually wasn't. And goes upstairs and just starts dancing. So this insane cult is incapable of killing her. The premise that we're presented with is that the only one that can kill Leanne is Leanne. And so we're presented with a scenario where Leanne feels remorse suddenly. Not in the moments where she should have felt remorse, when it was important. But now, because they have to close the show, they're saying, well, we got to show remorse now. So she's sorry, and yet she doesn't go out on a good note. Instead, she decides to emotionally fuck with Toby, the only person in this entire series who has ever had any actual care and concern for her as a character. So not only is she tormenting Dorothy on the way out, she's now tormenting fucking Toby on the way out, but they're presenting it in a way as if we should be feeling sorry for her. Like, oh yeah, no, I should totally feel bad that you make Dorothy feel like a piece of shit for her son dying. We should totally feel bad for you for making Toby feel like a fucking piece of shit by you setting up a date for him while you're actively killing yourself. This is the only guy that's ever actually cared for you as a human being. The one thing that you've claimed that you actually wanted in life was to care about someone, to have someone care about you, to have that emotional love. This is the one guy that gave it to you, which you've always rejected, and now on your fucking self-imposed deathbed, you're tormenting him even more. And yet we're supposed to feel bad for you. We're supposed to accept you as some sort of savior in your sacrifice. Who the fuck is writing this shit? What kind of a fucking asshole writes bullshit like this? You're fucking with the audience, trying to get them to believe this insanity. Meanwhile, you're fucking making the ultimate villain into what? A victim? Because her mommy died? Fuck you! People die every goddamn day! Alright. I'm clearly upset about it. Way more than I probably should be. But it infuriates me because every other aspect of this goddamn series is amazing. And it has set up 3.5 seasons of amazing storytelling. And you end it on such a shit note. How can I not be physically angry at that? So Leanne burns up the goddamn house. She's upstairs. Apparently smoke doesn't travel to the top floor because it doesn't in this. And she puts on a fucking record and starts dancing around. Then she takes a knife, kills herself. We're supposed to feel sorry for her for fucking sacrificing herself so that everyone else in the world can live happily, which doesn't make any sense at all. But she sacrifices herself after tormenting Toby and fucking Dorothy and all of the Turners and Julian and the fucking cult that she fucking, left from, and tortured all of the goddamn followers of hers that she just recently released, and all of us as the audience along the way, and all the goddamn writers that wrote her bullshit fucking script. But we're supposed to feel good about it. So the smoke doesn't hit the top floor, but the flames do. I don't know if these writers actually know how fires work, because the way they presented this certainly tells me that they do not know how fire works. So she's up there dancing around. The flames are literally melting the record that she's listening to, and yet no smoke at all. She's not coughing. She's not hacking. She's not gasping for breath. The floor just falls out from underneath her. So I want to talk about the greatest moment, because there is one single scene in this that actually makes, for me, everything else worthwhile. Arguably not worthwhile, but tolerable, at least momentarily. And that's when she ignites herself on fire. She's dancing around. This is that cam as if it's like attached to her body, and so it's sort of, very forced perspective and jittery and stuff. And her hand goes over to the fire, and you see it catch on her arm. She's freaking out and everything, and then it catches her body, and then she falls down on fire and everything. I actually really liked that moment. I thought the camera work was great. I thought the spreading of the fire was believable and great. I really did actually appreciate that a lot. And before that, she was talking to the dummy, which she has sort of, imposes sensibility of it being her mother. And so she's talking to her mother, who did in fact die from a fire before she lights the house on fire, saying, what did it feel like? Did it hurt and stuff? Knowing that she is going to go then kill herself through fire. I like that exchange. I really like the idea that she knew she needed to die because of all the horrible things that she's done. And she did, in fact, in my opinion, deserve to die. And she didn't deserve to drag people down with her, but she did. But she died, so okay. I like that. I like the moment of her being on fire, and then her falling was very crazy CGI, which I didn't believe at all. But the moment before that was wonderful. And everyone underneath, down looking up at her, Dorothy, Sean, and Julian are like, no, why? Last episode, they're trying to kill her. This episode, they're trying to stop her from dying. Where's the goddamn consistency with this fucking show? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like, if you hate someone and want them to die, why would that change a mere hours later? Julian and Sean left the beginning of this episode, the beginning of it, trying to get Dorothy away from Leanne, that Leanne's a toxic monster that's been abusing Leanne. And at the end of this episode, which is arguably 20 minutes later, like in their time frame, if that, they're trying to save her life. What the fuck are we supposed to believe? Has everything in this series been a lie? Are you trying to make us hate this show? Because you started off great, you continued it great, and you ended on such a shit goddamn note. Fuck you, Shyamalan. This is not one of your bullshit fucking movies. You barely have anything to do with this, and let you still manage to shit the bed and fuck the landing. It makes me so goddamn mad. Shyamalan can do great things in film, and then he can just completely blow fucking goat dick. I just don't understand it. And I thought this was his turning point. I was convinced, because he did not write this series, he was just producing it, that it would be brilliant. And he carried me along for years. And to have it fucking end like this just makes me want to knock his goddamn teeth in. The season was so inconsistent, you didn't even have to know the names of the writers to know it wasn't the same all season. 100%. Hallelujah. Amen. Oh, man. He is famous for bad endings. I should have expected it. It's my fault. I should have anticipated it. I was blinded. I was blinded by my own hope, and I'm an idiot for it. God damn it. It makes me so mad. So Dorothy dies. They don't find the body, and the police are like talking to the Turners and Julian, and, trying to sort of console them and find out what the fuck is going on. Julian's waiting for a body. They still haven't found a body yet. You see the cop that came to Dorothy when her son died. They were sort of asking her about it. Turns out the cop was part of that fucking cult. And they said that the members of the cult have all suffered these sort of life and death situations. And that they believe that they came back to be angels to guide people who've gone through severe trauma. Which is in line with the narrative that they have always said about the cult. The cult has always said about itself. So that's true. That's what they've always believed themselves to be. But every evidence to the contrary has been presented to us by how they've acted. That they're not helping people. They're fucking actively murdering and torturing people. So I can't believe that they believe what they espouse to believe when they act in stark contrast to said belief. Like, you just can't tell me 1 + 2 = 10. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't care what new math you're using. So, we're told that this cult is actually angelic and godly and divine and good. And then we're led to believe that Julian is actually a member of it. That he was brought back to bring people trauma because he died and then Leanne fucking brought him back from death. That's the ending note of this series. I was so upset the first time I watched the end of this series. I didn't really know how to react. Then I watched a couple other videos of people claiming to explain it and have it make sense. Their explanations are nothing different than what I'm bringing up, and what I interpreted is just they drink the Kool-Aid. I, on the other hand, I must be an insane person because I don't think this works at all as an ending. I don't think it's believable. I don't think it's acceptable. I think all of the logic is completely illogical. It's fucking bullshit. And it's bullshit that we're led to believe that it should be logical, because it's not. Leanne was a goddamn monster. I give a fuck what she wanted in life. You're not given what you want unless you earn it. That's what life is. Life is pain. Quoting fucking Princess Bride here. Anyone who tells you different is selling you something. I wanted this to fucking nail the landing so goddamn bad. I wanted this to be the example of the best fucking thriller that television has to offer. And it was for 3 seasons. Arguably 3 seasons and a handful of episodes. But they shit the bed on this ending really hard. And the more I think about it, the more I analyze it, the less logical it is. And I fucking hate it. And I'm so angry that I don't love it as much as I love the rest of the series. As far as shows go, like streaming shows, there's not a lot of great stuff out there. Every once in a while, we'll have like a gem that appears, like Last of Us or Andor, that just gives us renewed hope. This was that for me. But if this can shit the bed, I don't want to see the next season of Last of Us. I don't want to see the next season of Andor, because what if it does that? You know? Like, I'm broken inside because of this stupid fucking show. God damn it. Fuck you, Shyamalan. So, because of that, I actually gave it a really high rating. Oh, my bitching aside. This is wildly hypocritical of me. I don't know why I settled on 4, because I just watched it for the second time. But I gave it 4 evil eyes out of 5, which is really good. That's like a really good rating. And my reaction to the episode is wildly different than that rating. I got to change the rating. There's no way. I'm going to give it 2 out of 5. I don't know why I was thinking 4, is because I wasn't thinking, apparently. You know, Chris, you know an episode fucks with you when you go into the review, like I just did, thinking this is going to be pleasant. and you end up actively screaming with eyeballs shouting, like shooting out of your head. Flames, I'm going to quote Clue here. Flames on the side of my head, searing heat, flames. That was me during this episode. And then I fucking gave it a 4-star or a 4 evil. All right. Well, it's a 2. At best, it's a 2. I don't know why I put that there. I'm gonna hide it now. It's not there anymore. It's gone. There's no evidence to the contrary. Holy shit, did this suck? And I'm sitting here trying to convince myself that it's not that bad. That, you know, they're trying to lay this foundation for Goethe's Faust. But no, it's not. It's not that good. I want it to be that good, but that does not make it that good. Leanne wants Dorothy to be the murderer of her son. Dorothy's not the murderer of her son. It's just not the case. And I think the best thing we can do is just acknowledge the fact that whether you like it or not, evil spelled backwards is live. So get your asses out there. Examine the review of Evil Eyes before you put it up. Unlike me, and get out there and be evil.